Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas. Before we get started, I want to thank everybody for all the emails, the support, the comments, and also the request for topics and questions that I've been receiving on the email. Keep them coming, please. And thank you for making the podcast better. It's actually getting better. We're getting more listeners, which I like this because it's growing organically. And also thank you for joining the Facebook page and also the community on Facebook. Like I said, we're going to be like a family on this. We're together in this. So let's get to today's episode. So today we're going to be talking about starting over mentally, or starting over after a sickness while being a caregiver because you have to adjust to a new normal, or when you realize you want to change yourself as a person. Kind of like what happened to me after being diagnosed with PTSD. I knew that I had to change everything about me. Obviously, you can start over daily, hourly, or every minute if needed. You have to take baby steps because you have to practice, and practice makes it easier and easier to live this new sort of normal that you can create. You have the power within you to do it, and we believe in you. And just so you guys know, I'm recording this in the at the peak of the epidemic of the coronavirus. So hopefully by the time that this goes out, it's actually done. But if you have to be quarantined, that's kind of like what I'm talking about. You have to start a new way of life. Like a lot of people have been quarantined, so they have to adapt to a new normal. So that's what I'm doing this. And one of the things that happens, especially when you're a Spoonie, is that while being sick, you may think, how can I start over? I am sick. I am suffering. This is not going away. Accepting that this is your new normal is the first step to starting over. That's like I have mentioned, when I was diagnosed with PTSD, that's pretty much what happened to me. I had to accept, like, okay, this is what's wrong with me. I have to do something about it. And doing something about it meant that I have to start over pretty much everything. So you have to build a new life around what you're capable of, and that is key. You may have been able to do much more before you were ill. This isn't possible anymore, or this is impossible anymore, sorry. And you have to accept that. Acceptance is key, but it can also be a double-edged sword. I believe that most Spoonies feel useless as they are unable to function at their old capacities. And that happens a lot. You're gonna feel like you were able to do so much more before, because you also see this on Facebook or on social media. You see that others with the same type of illness that you might have are doing much more on social media. They're doing backflips and everything, and you're like, I can't do that. And that is normal. Everybody suffers in a different way. But even if you can only do one small thing per day to step into the right direction, that is fine. That is completely fine. You still have your dreams inside of you. You may have given up on your dreams for a while, but believe me, your dreams are still possible. This is what happened to me. This is what's happening to my wife. So I know it is possible. You may just have to climb a different mountain to get to your dreams. It might be slower. It might take you longer, but you'll never know that you're gonna be able to achieve those dreams until you take the first baby step. So that's for the Spoonies. Like, you can do this. You can start over. I've done it. My wife is doing it, and my wife is stubborn, so I know it's hard. I'm stubborn, so I know it was hard. But as a caregiver or as a caretaker, your normal is taken from you. You have to adjust quickly, and one of the things that happened to me, and it happens to a lot of people that I have talked to, depression, anxiety, and other health issues may set in while you're under so much stress. because, like I have talked before in another episode, stress can actually lower your immune system's response. So you have to pay attention to your body. And also remember, this is okay to take care of yourself first. They always tell you to place your own oxygen mask first. Remember to do this while starting over. Baby steps again are the key. Do one small thing at every day. They say that if you do something for at least 60 days, it becomes a habit. Do that one act for yourself for 60 days to try it out. It may become a habit. It's worth a shot. And I'm gonna tell you this story about me because I think it's important. Like when I was diagnosed with PTSD, and my wife was diagnosed with all of her illnesses, fibromyalgia. She had her mental breakdown. She had to be hospitalized. It was hard to get used to all of that because I was diagnosed with PTSD. She was in the hospital. I was like, I gotta do something. I have to do something. So my only choice was to get better. And going to therapy, what that made me realize is that everything that the way that I was raised was wrong. Everything that I believed was wrong. So pretty much I had to reset my entire thinking about myself and everything that I learned from my family, or all the examples, the bad examples that I saw. I had to pretty much delete that, almost like restart a computer from reset factory or reset factory computer. I had to start over and create new beliefs about myself. I had to believe that I could do this. I had to grow new character, show that I could do it. I went to therapy one time, and when I came back, I told my wife, I'm done with therapy. I don't think I need to go anymore. She's like, oh, no, you're not. She went to talk to the therapist, and they sat me down, and they're like, are you sure you're done? They talked to me, and I was like, okay, I'm not done. So I know it's hard to start over because we're going to feel scared to a new norm. Or we're going to feel scared because we don't know if this is going to work. We don't know if people are going to accept us, because we're changing everything about ourselves. We're changing our daily lives. We're changing our routines and everything. So people might not accept that, and that is okay, because believe me, this is going to help you. And one of the things that I want to say is that, as you guys know, many of you know that my wife became extremely sick 3 years ago. It was like starting over, like I mentioned, it was like starting over at an infant's level. It has become a learning adventure. What can you do or what can you not do? This is for my wife. Now, unfortunately, we're creatures of habit. And when you become ill, that no longer exists in our house at this point. Every day is different. So today it could be different than yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be different than today. So, and that's because of all of my wife's diagnosis. So we are now learning how to start over by trial and error. We had to do tons of our own research had to be done. Like we had to do our own research pretty much every day. And my wife gets overwhelmed, so I do all of the research. So we are learning every day. I have made it a goal to start over by learning everything about my wife's illnesses. So I am becoming a better caregiver by helping her with the diagnosis. I also becoming a better worker by listening to motivational speakers. That's one thing that I've been doing. I started the vlog, which it's in YouTube. It's on YouTube, and I also became a runner. I was never able to run very fast after my sleep apnea before it was diagnosed. I couldn't run not even 20 steps, I would say. I would get winded. Now I can run. These are all the things that started one day at a time that I had to learn to start over. So you need to make a little time here and there to learn to love yourself, and it's almost like filling up your gas tank. You have to know what works first. and then what doesn't work. It had my gas tank, it had been empty for way too long, so I've been filling it up little by little. So another thing that I did a lot is like starting tomorrow. I will start tomorrow. That it sounds good, right? How about today? Sometimes you have to call yourself out. You have to call yourself out and say, like, instead of doing it tomorrow, how about we do it today? That's because we're creatures of habit. Like, I had that habit of saying, like, oh, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and I will never do it because it was always the tomorrow, always the tomorrow. And I did that for so long that it was so hard to stop that cycle. So one of the things that I did is like, okay, it's sunny outside, why don't you go for a run? For at least for 10 minutes and get some vitamin D. Get some vitamin D, get some fresh air, get everything that you need to do outside. You deserve it. Like I say, it's like putting oil in your car's engine, so it works. You need to take your phone because you are addicted to it. Do it, but you still need to make a change. Like, instead of looking at it for 20 hours a day, just try to do it for like 18, and then keep reducing the hours. That's one thing that I'm working on right now, my phone, because I'm pretty much addicted to it. Like, we cannot find like escape from reality on Facebook, which is not good. And another thing that and this happened to me is like, I was scared of looking weak. And if you're afraid of what people might say, why don't you think about what you're gonna do? Like, create your new body, your new values, your new mindset, your new core. You might feel like you're a completely different person, but you're gonna be a better person. So why worry about what others might think? Stop doing that to yourself. Be the one dancing in the puddles. Be curious. Stop being afraid. Find your true self. This actually, and this is true, this might lead to loving yourself better, having better connections with others, having new ideas, finding true love, and much, much more. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you, and in any of my episodes, I'm never going to say that it's easy. Starting over is hard. It takes time. It took me like almost 2 years to be able to do all of this. It may also be the most rewarding thing we can do for ourselves and others as well, because they might follow your example. You never know. One of the things is like, you never know who you are inspiring by doing so. So that's one of the things that I realized, that even though I don't talk a lot about it, that's one of the things that I'm working on, to be more open about my story. And that's why I started the blog on Facebook, so you guys can hear my story. Is that one of the things that I realized is that everyone loves a comeback story, like in the movies, like Rocky. He was losing, he won. So write your story with the mentality that if you can do it, you can also help others you can also help others do it as well. So it is possible. Don't be afraid. There's a community out there that can help you. We have the community on Facebook. You can reach out to me directly if you have any questions, because I answered this type of questions to my wife. For my wife, when she wants to do something, she always asks me like, "Oh, okay, how can I do that?" And then we come up with a plan. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Send me an email to the caregiver and spoonie@gmail.com, and we're here to help. I want to help as many people as possible. Obviously, the emails, it might take me a long time to respond, but I will respond. And if we're in quarantine, then I have nothing to do, pretty much. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you can start over. I know it's hard. It was hard for me. It's hard for my wife. I know a lot of people that are starting over. I know a few addicts, drug addicts that are starting over, and I know it's hard, especially with withdrawals or with body aches and things like that. But it is possible. If you can see it and you believe in yourself, you will achieve it. That's one of the things that I was able to learn by listening to people that have gone through similar situations. Like, I see myself doing the podcast, and I've been doing it, and there are other things that are coming that I'm going to work on for the podcast so I can help more people. So with that said, uh, that's it. That's everything that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Like I said, you guys can send me an email. You can comment on Facebook, on the Facebook page, or on the actual community. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Let's make this the community where people can reach out. And I'll leave you with this, just like always. Always take care of yourself, and have a great day.